Hello everyone, this is Kathleen. I'm happy to be here today. I want to show you a new pocket pattern. I was watching Wendy's journal adventures just recently. She had some flip through journals that she was showing, and on one of the journals there was this little flip pocket at on the very first page that just captured my attention. And it's very simple. Probably lots of other people have done it. I just thought that it was beautiful there on the first page, and so I stopped the film and came to my studio to make some prototypes for my pocket pouch. So that's what I want to show you. I've got two new book page pocket patterns in my pocket pouch now. So I don't really even know. I mean, hers was just a simple pocket flip, although it's beautifully decorated, as she does all of her things. But I have two I've made in my prototypes for my journals that I want to do going forward. I have made two different styles. So the idea of a flip is obviously you make a hinge and then whatever you're doing flips. So Wendy's little pocket was just simple, and it just had this top opening. The one that I like, because this is what I have found, I'll just give you another little hint. I've mentioned before that I kind of rather like tucks rather than pockets. Let me show you these two prototypes in the journal, and then you'll understand this tip. So I am using it like Wendy did on the first page of this new journal that I'm making. It's a beautiful journal based on the pink and green bundle that just came out with the graphics fairy this week. So I will link that kit also below. But here's the way Wendy had it. She had some other things going on in the back, and then she had this little flip out pocket that folded over. I just made this large kind of tuck in the back, and then I did the pocket. But here's the thing. When you do a pocket and it's secured on three sides, then it's it can be kind of tricky to get whatever you've got packed down in and out of the pocket, because it creates a tight space when it's glued on three sides. So here's the other one that I did further in the book, and what I have done is I have just made a tuck rather than a pocket. I've just done a tuck which is glued on two sides, and that way it leaves you can just get your things in and out of it easier. So no matter what I'm doing on a page, I generally prefer tucks over pockets, just because it's easier to get whatever you're keeping in and out. And so my little variation of Wendy's pocket is this with folded over and not glued, but left open like that. So that's how those pockets look in a journal. So let me put that aside, and we'll get to how it's constructed. Okay, so the first variation is just the normal little book page pocket. The second variation is just more of a pocket tuck flip, and I've chosen just to kind of bend the corner down like that. I've done a little decorative punch there on the corner and then just glued it on two sides. So these are now my prototypes that go into my pocket pouch. Okay, let me show you how you do it. First of all, let's talk about papers to use. So in the journal, I have used part of the kit, the digital kit, and so I've put this image, I've arranged it as I printed so that it would go right here. So when I printed the page, I put the image here on this side with space to the right so that it could be cut out correctly. On this one, I have done the same thing, only just folded it different. So that anyway, whichever way you want it to fold, that's where you would put the image so that there is space left for the other side. And you'll see what I mean when I get to the construction. But anyway, so for me to make, this would make a fabulous mass make to keep these prepared and in my stash so that I don't have to build it every time. So in order to do that, the easiest thing to use is book page, and I have plenty of that. I'm sure you have plenty too. So I look for a paper that is going to be just, I love index pages out of old books because they have the text on it, but it's pretty general. And so I don't have to worry about images to arrange or anything. So, and you want the paper to be somewhat sturdy because you're going to fold it. So you don't want fragile paper. So I look for index pages. Here's another index page. I love this. I have a whole book and it's only this stuff. And so you can do it this way and have the text becomes almost an image, a striped image. That's why I like it. Or you can do it this way so that it's, folded and the stripe is going across. So that's fun. It's also fun to kind of look for photographs. This would make just a really fun, just vintage image of these. And then there's text on the back if you just want text, and that's nice. So you can look for these kinds of book pages and just make a whole bunch of pockets out of them. Okay, let me show you how it's constructed. So this was one of those image pages, and this is the basic. This is the basic pocket, not the variation with the tuck. So what you want, essentially what you're going to do is fold it with the hinge over here and then fold the bottom up. And then you can either glue this down and create the pocket, or you can fold it down and create the tuck. So that's kind of how it looks when it's cut and ready to go. This is another one that's just kind of just a vintage image that would look great in any kind of a vintage book, steampunk. Yeah, I love these kinds of book pages. Okay, the other thing is you can look for pages that have an illustration that would be, this is out of a gardening book, and it is perfect for this, and I'll show you how. And then this was a large oversized coffee table book, and what I wanted was just the image behind here. And I didn't even want to look at the image. I just wanted the colors in the image. And then I did my little embossing and sanding distress technique. I have a video how to do this with these glossy book page images that you can use in your journals. Doesn't matter what the photo is, you're just looking for the colors. And anyway, I'll link that video below if you want to go and see how to do this emboss technique. But I just did some staining to take the white down, and then I have cut it, the way it needs to be. Okay, so let me show you how to make the folds and cut. So you start with the paper, and you can decide what size you want. For instance, with this photograph, this makes a really large pocket. This would be 7 inches or so. So if you want a tall flip or a short flip or a wide flip, then you could use the book page this way and get a much bigger pocket. But this is the way you do it, and it's really simple. Couple of tools. The scoreboard will be helpful if you have one. If not, just use like a knife, the edge of a knife, and a ruler. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide with this size paper, and I want this image, so I'm going to fold it so that the image is on this side. So leaving space for the hinge, I'm going to fold that right there. Okay, so there's my first fold. And then I'm going to make that hinge. And you want to leave just enough room so that when you fold it over, if you fold it this way, there's room for the other page. So don't put it right up against it, but rather come over just 1/8 of an inch or so that there's a little bit of a gap. Let me show you on this one. Where is it? So you can see that there is just a little bit of a gap right there, and that's so that when this is glued on to the page, the journal page, there's enough room for it to fold over. Okay, so there's your first crease. Now you're going to crease a little hinge on the bottom to fold up. And so if we don't want, just about 1/4 of an inch, it looks like, is all I've given myself when I cut that. Let me get on my tiptoes, so that's going to come over about right there. We're going to score that all the whole length of it. Okay, now we're going to cut off, and you can decide which one you want the hinge on. This might be interesting. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make it regular. Okay. So I want this part to fold up. So I'm going to fold that as the hinge, and now I'm going to cut this part. And again, I'm going to cut just above that so that when it folds over the hinge, there's room for the paper. So I'm going to cut this part off. And when I get to here, then I'm going to make a little diagonal cut there and a little diagonal cut there. Okay, so now I have that. And I have this fold for the hinge. Now it's looking right. Okay, now the next thing, the only thing I have left to do besides gluing is just to cut the little divot. And if you want, you can just eyeball it and cut it. But this is the way I do it. I fold it over, and then I just make a little pinch right there. And then I can more easily decide where the middle is. And then I just cut that little divot out. Okay, there we go. That's all there is to it. Now I take my distress ink and give it just a little bit of distress around the edges. And then I can glue that down, and it's ready to go. Now, because it has this pretty image here on the front, I think what I'm going to do is make this so that it folds around the back, so that this is the image on top of the hinge. So let me go ahead. Now, at this point, if I wanted this to be the tuck style, instead of the pocket style, then I would fold this down instead. But I'm going to go ahead and make this one a pocket. So now what I need to do is glue this. And I need to glue this edge. And then just fold that over. Now, if this were just plain text book page, you know, like these, like this one, then I could now decorate that based on whatever theme of the journal that I'm working on. So there it is. Isn't that cool? I like that. Let me glue this one so you can see what this one now looks like. So this one, I did a little extra. I didn't have enough room to do that on this because I wanted the image in here in the center. But on this one, I had enough room. So I made that second tuck, which makes it much easier to get things in and out of that pocket. But see, now this pocket goes into a journal and folds over the page, and you don't even notice whatever image is underneath there. That just really obscures the image, but it leaves the pretty colors. Okay, same with this one. Now is ready to go over the page. You glue the hinge on the other side, and then you've got that pretty fold. So there you go. There is two variations of a book page pocket flip. Thanks for spending time with me. I appreciate always your time and the lovely comments. If you liked this video, I would ask a favor if you would just hit the little like button. That will help me out. Thanks again for your time, and we'll see you again.